Hi, I'm Katie, founder and director of KatchUp, and KatchUp's a private photo and video sharing platform, and I came up with the idea of it after a dinner at my parents' house, where we were talking about the photos and videos and how they were scattered across phones, laptops, computers, and there was no easy way for us to share them all privately. So to give you an example, if I wanted to share a photo with my brother, my mum, and my granddad, I would probably text it to my brother, email it to my mum, and then send it to my granddad either in the post or when I saw him in about 5 months' time. So that's where the idea of KatchUp was born, because we just felt there was this real need for somewhere that was private and very easily to share across generations, and obviously in a very safe way as well for family photos. Okay, so when we first started, obviously none of us had any experience in the tech industry, so any knowledge technically or really any grounding in it at all. So we thought it would be best to hire an external agency to do our first proof of concept. My main recommendations for using an external agency would be to be very, very clear on what you want at the start. So make sure you have really clear, concise requirements, and make sure you're really clear and have an open discussion with them on how long they think that the job will take, but also allow a lot of time for for iterations and back and forth at the end of it to make sure that you actually end up with the product that you want, and be very careful with timescales, because it's really hard to stick to them. Everyone, even trying, everyone's trying their best, it's still very hard with a technical product. Based on my experience, I would say probably in most instances it's easier, quicker, and probably more cost effective as well to work with an external agency to build a technical product, whether it's a mobile app or a website or whatever you want to do, because these guys are going to be experts in that area. They'll have some good advice for you. Obviously if you go with a really good digital agency, they'll be able to produce something good for you. But if you want to do something more involved, like KatchUp, where this product is your whole business, then I would definitely advise getting an in-house team, because you have to live and breathe it every day. You're just there, constantly making iterations, making sure the user experience is brilliant. If you have a heavy focus on user experience and that you're going to have a high number of users every day, and you're actually giving them a product that's going to enhance their life or become part of their lifestyle, to do that you definitely have to have a dedicated team. But if you just want an app to go along with your product that you already have, whether it's like an e-commerce, something like that, definitely just get an external agency to do it. It'll be less of a headache, I think. There are definitely a number of challenges to having an in-house technical team, more so if you are a non-technical director of the company. Obviously, if you're technical yourself, it's easier. But if you're non-technical, there are quite a lot of challenges. First and foremost, really learning to understand how developers work and how they think, because it's a really, really specialized area. And it's very different to how day to day most companies will work and sort of prioritize tasks and things. It's very different. So you have to really be open to learning everything about how they tick, how they work, what is good for them, what's bad for them. Because at the end of the day, your job is to get your requirements for your product across to this development team, so they can then understand it and put that into something that then works, which is a hard thing to do. So you can only really do that if you're really dedicated to making it work both ways. We have these daily stand-up meetings, which is quite common in development, because really when you've got a number of developers working across the whole platform, there's a lot of code going in at different times, and everyone has to be really tuned in and up to speed with what's going on, so we don't introduce bugs into the system. So communication is really, really key, and it's not just like your traditional sort of 5-hour meeting like once a week that's a planning meeting and then we all just go away and do our stuff. It's every day we have a stand-up that's 10 minutes long where everyone discusses what they're doing today, what they did yesterday, do they have any blockers, because sometimes someone will be waiting on another person to finish a piece of code, or there'll be a problem here that they've got to look at. So you have to just be really on top of it every day. Definitely one of the best things you can do if you are deciding to build an in-house development team is to get a really good product manager who has a technical background, but who can be that bridge between the very, very technical developers and then you, the person with the vision for what you want to achieve. Because that's a very sort of niche role, but it requires a person who can really like understand both ends and act as that bridge and really help you to convey all of the requirements and the day-to-day stuff over to the rest of the team.